Hello everyone. It's amazing to see when our phone touch screen works using the biscuit wrapper just as like that our finger. Let's see how does this works. First of all, we know about how our touch screens work. Most of the touch screen works using a capacitive touch screen technology. I will explain about it. Inside a phone display, numerous capacitors are connected and the surface of the display are spreaded by the electric field. When our finger touches the display, a charged material, because the finger contains lots of salts, ions and etc. A charged material touches the screen. In the middle, the insulating glass plate is connected. So this is one charged plate, middle insulator, again one charged plate. Yeah, additional capacitor. Already a capacitance layer or capacitors are present. Yeah, additional capacitance layer is created when our finger touches the phone. Let's see here. This is phone's capacitance capacitive layer. This is a glass layer, and this is assume this is a our finger, a charged plate. Assume our finger as a charged plate. Yeah, additional capacitive layer is created and that disturbs the stable electric field present in our phone display. Then the phone control unit and the sensors determines where the capacitance, the additional capacitance and the disturbances of the electric field are created in the phone display, determines the location of where the disturbance created and sends to the control unit, and functions and the operations are performed accordingly. In this way our capacitive touchscreen technologies works. The additional from this point we get a clear idea that is the additional capacitive layer is created to work the touch screens. There are two ways to create additional capacitive layers on the phone display. The one is directly keeping a charged material on the phone display, like just our finger or a dry cell. This dry cell has a lot of charges in this tip and works the touch screen like that. During we keeping a direct charged material to the phone display, the additional capacitor layer and the disturbances electric field is directly created and works the touch screen. The another way is to keep a conducting material to create a charged plate and works on the display. Let's see. First, in this example, we will keep a conducting wire on the phone display. In this case, first, while we keeping a conducting material or conducting wire to the phone display, under the effect of the electric field on the phone display, the electrons, the neutral atoms get polarized due to the electric field on the display. Let's assume this as a conducting wire. Let's assume the phone display as a positive charges. The conducting wire polarizes into negative and positive ions on these edges. In this case, we have to create a charged plate, charged material near the display. So we have to abolish the interaction of these opposite charges on these charges. So in case of the conducting wire, we directly attaches the conducting wire to the ground, like our finger or any proper ground. I show you this example by taking one example. Like this lead has a bunch of wire. I folded the wire like this bunch because we have to create a surface charge, more surface area. When I keeping this conducting wire into the phone display, it doesn't work, because while keeping the wire gets polarized only, but the interaction of these opposite charges on this charger should be present. We have to abolish. If I keep the other end of the wire by I touching the other end of the wire by my finger, the proper ground is applied and works on the touch screen. In this way, conducting wire get polarized first and then attach it to the ground and neutralizes the opposite charge, and the charged surface area are created, and then the additional capacitance layer and the disturbance in the electric field are created and works on the touch screen. Now we come to the main point of our video, that is how the biscuit wrapper works the touch screen. In this biscuit wrapper, we know that the biscuit cover is usually works as the insulator, because if we connect the LED light to the battery through the biscuit wrapper as the medium, it doesn't conduct the electric charges and doesn't turn on the light. We already know. But how the biscuit wrapper works on the touch screen like that, we will note that. In the biscuit cover, the aluminum foil is present, that is only responsible for the conduction of the charges, but the extra plastic insulation and the other materials, insulation materials are present on the biscuit cover, that doesn't allow the charges to go outside and inside the biscuit cover. Now let's it's clearer. Then how the phenomena of the conduction occurs on the biscuit wrapper? In this case, the static electricity comes up. Mainly, this is also the static electricity present, but during the neutralization of the opposite charges to the ground while attaching the conducting wire, in the biscuit wrapper, this case also, in this area also, the static electricity occurs. Let's see in a clear manner. If we connect a biscuit wrapper to the phone, it gets normally it gets polarized, as usually we taken a phone display as the positive charge, the biscuit cover polarizes as the negative and the positive charges, but this interaction will be already present. To abolish this interaction, in the case of we here also keeping our finger as the ground, not as ground, we keep the finger. In this case, not charges gets neutralized. The finger charges hold the opposite charges tightly and abolishes the interaction of this charge on this charge, and creation of the surface charged plate is created and the additional capacitance plate is created. In this case, the neutralization of the charges occur because both are conducting layers, so the neutralization happens. But in this case, due to the insulation layers present, the finger holds the opposite charges tightly, only abolishes the interaction of this charge on this charge. In this case only, in this way, only the biscuit wrapper works the touch screen. I here take a same example of like this is a biscuit cover, small biscuit cover. If I works the touch screen while small biscuit cover, it doesn't work because it gets polarized statically, but there is a interaction of this charge on this charge is present. If I keep your finger on the biscuit cover and works the touch screen, it works because while keeping my finger on the biscuit screen, the charge in my finger attracts this opposite charges tightly and abolishes the interaction of this charge on this charge. Then only the insulation, our finger has a powerful static electricity to hold this opposite charges, because in this case the usually works in this case. I remove this, the whole biscuit covers are surrounded, but this is present in the very high plastic insulator, but instead of this plastic insulator is present, my finger holds the opposite charges and works on the touch screen. In this way of static electricity phenomenon only, the biscuit wrapper works on the touch screen. If I keep my finger in this area only, the biscuit wrapper works the touch screen. Because of my finger's static electricity, it holds this opposite electric charges and creating this charge, and further process is done and works the touch screen. if I doesn't keep the finger on near the biscuit screen, the screen not works. Only I keep this area, the finger, the touch screen works. Because the instead of this plastic insulator also, the finger static electricity occurs and holds and further processes occurs. If we keep a large biscuit wrapper near the display, sometimes works the touch screen without a finger or a proper ground. In this case, the opposite charges, the polarized opposite charges are randomly dispersed on the large surface area of biscuit wrapper, and the interaction of these charges on this surface charges, created surface charges, or should be very very less, so that sometimes works the touch screen without the finger. But this is a very very rare case. A proper ground or finger is necessary to work on the touch screen very smoothly. We should know clearly only the static electricity or the effect of electric field only happens across our finger and the phone display and the biscuit wrapper and the finger. No charges travel across this glass plate or this biscuit wrapper insulation material. Only the phenomenon of static electricity and the effect of electric field only responsible for the holding the charges, and other phenomena happens accordingly. No charges are crossing this layer and also this biscuit wrapper or finger layers. Note this clearly. That's all the techniques to work on the